AITA for keeping inheritance from birth mother instead of splitting with adoptive siblings? Hey everyone, I, 25F, really need some outside perspective here because my family situation has gotten so messy and awkward, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm being a jerk. So, AITA for keeping the inheritance from my birth mother instead of splitting it with my adoptive siblings? I feel like I'm not the a-hole, but they're acting like I'm the most selfish person alive, and now family dinners are a total train wreck. Buckle up, because this is a lot, and I'm kinda all over the place trying to explain it. For context, I'll start from the beginning. I was adopted at birth by my amazing parents, who I love more than anything. They're the best, seriously, always supportive, always there for me, and they gave me a great childhood. I'm the middle kid of 3, all of us adopted. My older brother Jake, 28M, was adopted when he was 2, and my younger sister Lila, 22F, was adopted at birth like me. We grew up super close, like a typical sibling trio, fighting over the remote, teaming up to beg for pizza on Fridays, all that normal stuff. My parents always told us we were chosen, and they made sure we felt loved and equal. They never played favorites, and I really mean that. We all had our struggles, sure, but we were a solid family unit. Growing up, we didn't talk a ton about our birth parents. My parents were open about it if we asked, but none of us really went digging. I think Jake tried to find his birth mom once in high school, but it didn't go anywhere, and Lila's always said she's not interested. Me, I was curious but never acted on it. It just felt like a big, scary unknown, you know? Fast forward to about 6 months ago. I get this random letter in the mail from a lawyer. I thought it was a scam at first, like, who gets a letter like that out of the blue? But I opened it, and my jaw hit the floor. Turns out, my birth mother, let's call her Sarah, passed away last year, and she left me her entire estate. $180,000. I'm not kidding, I had to read it 3 times to believe it. I never met this woman, never even knew her name until that letter. Apparently, she'd been keeping tabs on me from a distance, found me through some adoption records or something, and decided to leave everything to me. The lawyer said she had no other kids, no spouse, and her parents were gone too, so I was it. There was even a short note from her, handwritten, saying she was sorry for giving me up, that she thought about me every day, and she hoped this money would help me build a good life. I cried for, like, an hour straight when I read that. It was so overwhelming, sad, confusing, but also kinda beautiful. Like, this was my one connection to her, this woman who gave me life but couldn't be in it. I didn't tell anyone at first. I needed time to process. I called the lawyer back, made sure it was legit, and it was. The money was already being transferred to my account, all legal and official. I sat on it for a couple weeks, just thinking. $180,000 is a lot of money, especially for me. I work a decent job, graphic design, mostly freelance, but I've got student loans, I'm renting a tiny apartment, and I've always dreamed of buying a house someday. This felt like a game changer, you know? A chance to pay off debt, save up, maybe even travel a little or take some pressure off. But more than that, it felt personal. Like, this was from my birth mother, a piece of her I'd never get to know otherwise. Eventually, I told my parents. I wasn't trying to hide it, but I wanted to be sure before I brought it up. They were shocked but supportive. Mom hugged me and said she was happy for me, that it must be bittersweet to get this kind of gift from someone I never met. Dad just nodded and said, "It's yours, kiddo. She wanted you to have it." They didn't push me one way or the other, which I appreciated. I figured I'd tell Jake and Lila eventually, but I wasn't in a rush. Big mistake, I guess. So this happened about a month later. We're at a family dinner, just the usual Sunday night thing at my parents' house. We're eating lasagna, joking about how Dad always burns the garlic bread, and then Lila asks, super casual, "Hey, what's this I hear about you getting a bunch of money?" I froze. Turns out, Mom mentioned it to her in passing, not thinking it was a big deal. I wasn't mad at Mom, she didn't mean to stir anything up, but I wish I'd gotten to break the news myself. I explained the whole thing, the letter, my birth mother, the $180,000, the note. I thought they'd be surprised, maybe even happy for me. Nope. Jake's face got all tight, and he said, "Wow, that's a lot of cash. So, what, you're just keeping it all?" I was like, yeah. It was left to me. And then Lila chimed in, "That's kinda messed up, don't you think? We're all adopted. Why do you get a windfall and we don't?" I was blindsided. I tried to explain that this wasn't about being fair or not, it was from my birth mother, not theirs. She chose me, specifically, for whatever reason. I said they have their own birth families, and maybe one day they'll get something from them too. Bad move. Jake snapped, "Oh, so we should just sit around hoping our bio parents die and leave us a jackpot? Cool plan." Lila piled on, saying it felt unfair because we're supposed to be equal in this family, and now I'm set for life while they're still scraping by. Jake's a teacher, and Lila's in retail, so I get that money's tight for them. But I didn't ask for this. I didn't go hunting for it. It just landed in my lap. Things got heated. I said, "Look, I'm sorry you feel that way, but this was her decision. It's legally mine, and it's the only thing I'll ever have from her." Lila rolled her eyes and said, "Yeah, well, $180,000 is a pretty nice consolation prize for never meeting her." That stung. I got upset, said maybe they should be happy for me instead of acting entitled to something that's not theirs. Jake scoffed and said, "Entitled? You're the one hoarding a fortune while we're sitting here with nothing." Then he got up, grabbed his coat, and left. Lila followed him out, barely looking at me. My parents just sat there, quiet, looking super uncomfortable. Mom finally said, "Let's all take a breather and talk later," but I could tell they didn't want to pick a side. That was 2 months ago, and it's been awkward ever since. Family dinners are the worst now. Jake barely talks to me, maybe a pass the salt if I'm lucky. Lila's not much better. She'll make these passive-aggressive comments like, "Must be nice to not worry about bills," or "Hope you're enjoying your new VIP status." I've tried texting them to clear the air. I sent Jake a message like, "Hey, I hate how weird things are. Can we talk?" He replied, "Not much to say. You've made your choice." Lila's worse, she left me on read for a week, then sent back, "I just think it's selfish, that's all." I don't even know how to respond to that. I feel like they're ganging up on me, acting like I'm some greedy monster. I've cried about this more than I'd like to admit, just feeling so torn. Here's where I'm at. On one hand, I get why they're upset. We've always been equal in this family, same rules, same chores, same love from our parents. And yeah, $180,000 is a lot. I know they're struggling. Jake's got a kid on the way with his wife, and Lila's been trying to save up to move out of her roommate situation. I feel bad that they don't have that kind of cushion. Part of me wonders if I should just split it 3 ways to keep the peace. Like, $60,000 each isn't nothing, right? It'd help them out, and maybe we'd go back to normal. I even ran the numbers one night, sitting on my couch with a calculator, trying to figure out if I could still pay off my loans and do something nice for them. But then I stop and think, why should I? This wasn't a family lottery win. This was from my birth mother, a woman I'll never meet, never hug, never talk to. That note she left me, I keep it in my nightstand, and I read it when I'm feeling lost. It's the only piece of her I have, and this money feels like an extension of that. She wanted me to have it, not anyone else. Am I really a jerk for honoring that? I've talked to a couple friends about this, and they're split. My best friend, Kara, was like, "No way, keep it. It's yours," and they're being ridiculous expecting a cut. But my coworker, Mike, said, "I dunno, if it's causing this much drama, maybe split it and call it a day. Family's more important than money." My parents are still neutral, which I respect, but it's tough. Mom will say stuff like, "We just want you all to be okay," and Dad's been quiet, just checking in to make sure I'm not too stressed. I can tell they hate seeing us fight, and that makes me feel guilty too. I keep overthinking this. Like, am I being selfish? I didn't ask for this money, but I'm not gonna lie, it's a huge relief. I've already paid off $20,000 of my student loans, and it felt so good to knock that out. I haven't spent much else, maybe a nice dinner for myself and a new pair of boots, but nothing crazy. I'm trying to be smart, saving most of it for a down payment on a house someday. But every time I think about that, I picture Jake and Lila rolling their eyes, thinking I'm some rich snob now. I hate that they see me this way. We used to be so close, movie nights, stupid inside jokes, texting each other memes all day. Now it's like they resent me, and I don't know how to fix it. I've tried talking to them again. Last week, I invited them both to coffee, hoping we could hash it out. Jake said he was busy, and Lila showed up but was super cold. She sat there, stirring her latte, and said, "Look, I just feel like you're choosing money over family. We've always shared everything, and now you're acting like we don't matter." I tried to explain again, this isn't about them not mattering. It's about this being personal to me, a tie to my birth mother. She just shook her head and said, if it was me, I'd split it. That's what family does. Then she left, and I sat there feeling like garbage. I keep replaying that conversation, wondering if she's right. Would I expect them to split something like this with me? Honestly, I don't think so. If Jake's birth dad left him a car or Lila's birth family sent her a check, I'd be happy for them. I wouldn't feel entitled to it. But maybe I'm kidding myself, I don't know. It's been months of this tension, and I'm so tired of it. Family dinners used to be my favorite part of the week, mom's cooking, dad's bad jokes, us laughing until we couldn't breathe. Now I dread them. Last Sunday, Jake didn't even show up, texted mom some excuse about work. Lila came, but she barely looked at me, just talked to our parents about her job and left early. I feel like I'm losing my siblings over something I didn't even control. I've thought about going to a lawyer, just to double check everything, but it's all legit, the will was clear, the money's mine. I've also thought about therapy, maybe a family session, but I'm worried Jake and Lila would just gang up on me again. I miss how things were, but I also feel like I shouldn't have to give up what's mine to make them happy. So, Reddit, aita? Am I wrong for keeping this $180,000 from my birth mother instead of splitting it with my adoptive siblings? I get that they're upset, and I hate the rift this has caused, but this feels so personal to me. It's not just the money, it's the only connection I'll ever have to her. They're acting like I'm selfish, but I feel like they're being unfair expecting a cut of something that was never theirs. I'm so torn, and I just want to know if I'm the bad guy here. What do you think? I'd love any advice on how to handle this with my siblings too, because I miss them, and this sucks. TLDR, my birth mother, who I never met, left me $180,000. My adoptive siblings think I should split it 3 ways because we're all adopted and equal, but I want to keep it since it's my only tie to her. Now they barely talk to me, and family dinners are super awkward. AITA for not sharing?